I'm really excited to introduce my next speaker. I've been following him for probably maybe 2+ years now. Brilliant interviews and just a great mind and amazing blogging content that this guy has released. So let me officially introduce you to Anthony Vitello. Anthony Anthony Scarred Ghost Vitello is an AR/VR developer, entrepreneur, and blogger. He started his career in 2014 with the full body VR startup Emotion AR, and since then he has always striven to disrupt the immersive technology space. In 2017, he co-founded New Technology Walkers, with which he developed the first mixed reality fitness game, HitMotion Reloaded, with the support of HTC. Since 2019, he has been partnering with Vroom, developing innovative events and concerts in VR, like Jean-Michel Jarre's Welcome to the Other Side concert, which collected more than 75 million views worldwide. Anthony's blog, The Ghost House, is well known in the XR ecosystem. It's the one I love that I was talking about a second ago. And he is considered by many as an influencer in the XR industry ecosystem. Having participated in important worldwide events like View Conference, WCVRI, and AWE USA, where we are today.
Yes.
And with no further ado, here's Tony.
Yes. Woo! Okay, so hello everyone, and thanks for coming to my speech about how to make fun and effective fitness VR games. So I skipped this introduction because he has already said too many amazing things about me. So my idea is to talk about, in general, fitness in XR, the game HitMotion Reloaded we're developing, and then give some pieces of advice in case you want to do this kind of games by yourselves. So let's talk about fitness in VR. So why we should talk about it? Because it is one of the biggest trends of consumer VR, probably together with games, social VR, and adult entertainment is one of the best use cases. And the reason why it is so popular is that fitness is about moving yourself, and so staying fit by doing that. And VR games also are very physical. You have to move with your controllers, you have to do room scale. So while you play, you finish to move, and so you have some kind of fitness experience. So basically with VR, you can have fitness, staying fit while having fun. At the same time, you can meet and train with other people by staying at home. And some people say that it's also better than going to the gym because you don't have other people judging you. It's just you alone, protected by an avatar, and so you are more comfortable in do some kind of movements or fitness. And all the major brands are inside VR fitness. So Facebook has just acquired Supernatural. HTC has developed that reference design for fitness-focused headsets. At the moment, it's still a concept. Samsung has these AR glasses with fitness experiences, and we know that there are some games that are making good money with this kind of application. And also, as I said, there are new accessories coming for fitness XR. Even Zook there has announced a new active pack for the Quest to do fitness on the Oculus Quest 2. There are some people being communities all focused on fitness. There are magazines like VR Fitness Insider. Supernatural has just launched branded merch for who wants to do fitness VR. So it's a big trend, and communities are growing. The trend is going always better, and it's coming to all kind of hardware. Even there are some kind of experience on mobile phones with people putting the phone towards the wall and then having full body tracking on the phone and using it to move and do some kind of fitness in AR, basically. So I expect it to become always more widespread, community always bigger, and maybe one day when we'll wear AR glasses all the day, we'll have some kind of gamification routine every day, every morning to make us stay fit. Who knows? Anyway, since it's a big trend, it's something we of New Technology Workers are also working. And actually, we started even before this trend in 2016 with a full-body VR game that was called HitMotion. And we noticed that people to play this game. They moved a lot. They were super sweaty. It was not that good for our headset because they were returning us a headset that was full of sweat. It was kind of disgusting. But anyway, it was an interesting thing to see. And then in 2019, we had the opportunity of working with HTC for like a new version of HitMotion called HitMotion Reloaded. There was a mixed reality game focused on fitness for the Vive Focus Plus. And then this year, we launched it for the Quest. We'll say it later. So it has a long story, but the basic mechanics has always been about moving in the area, punching objects, and dodging attacks. So here you should be like the trailer that we did for HitMotion. The new version is this girl you see that is moving in her house, punching stuff, moving, dodging attacks. It's quite simple, but it's very intense as a training. So people are loving it for this reason. So let's skip the trailer and let's talk about how to develop yourself a game like this. So I think that before starting, you have to evaluate some kind of high-level decision about your game. So you decide, OK, I want to do a fitness game. Maybe you think about boxing or some kind of other sports. And you should think about how this game has to be built, but also who is this game for? So are you building a game for newbies or for pro athletes? Do you want something that is just fun? Do you want something that instead teaches a sport? So what is your purpose in building this game? You want to train the upper part, the lower part? Also, what are the devices you want to build it for? And also, is this just for certain countries or for the whole world? And also, if you have some kind of constraints. So sometimes you just constrained on the money, on the budget. Maybe if you are doing a launch titles like us, you just have to deliver everything before a certain date. And this influences all your decisions. So just to make some examples about what I call the fun versus efficiency of a fitness VR game. Let's say on the left side, we have Beat Saber. Beat Saber is pure fun. And since it's so cool, it's so funny, you just move a lot by swinging the lightsabers, and you stay fit. But you can't say that Beat Saber teaches you some kind of sports or make you move in a proper way. You just move a lot. You have fun, you move a lot, and it's OK to lose some weight. On the right side, we have FitXR, that was called Box VR before. And instead, it's quite a technical game. It's about giving punches at the right time with the right stance of your body. It signals you the calories that you're burning. So it's quite technical. I can say it's super fun, but it works. And as a training, it's quite effective. So the more you make something fun, the more you sacrifice something about the technicality of the training. So in the end, you have to make a compromise. And this compromise depends also who you want to target. Do you want to target a super athlete that is already challenged by having to punch something to make the biggest point possible? Or you want to challenge the average consumer that maybe just has to move slower, just want to have a bit of fun? So who is your target? This is very important to discuss before you actually start developing the game, because when you do it in the middle, it's a bit a mess. And who you want also to include in the game. Sometimes it's not possible to include everyone. If you make a game about running, of course, it's difficult for people in a wheelchair. But in general, you should try to include people with different heights, different genders, different capabilities. So who you are going to target with your product. And also, what is your hardware? Because we talk a lot about fitness in VR, but there are also some experiments with fitness in AR. There was a cool video about Snapchat and Nike, Snap Spectacles and Nike that has been published some days ago about how can be fitness with Snap glasses. And it was amazing, but it's difficult than doing something in VR. AR, you can do it around your city, so enhance what you're already doing. VR is about immersivity, doing something cool like Pistol Whip. Mobile AR can be being at home, making full body exercises, and it's different also for the target. I mean, if you do mobile AR, you can target billions of people. If you do VR, it's more a niche, but it's more engaging. So probably the people are more engaged and interested into the game. So again, it's a matter of choices, of compromises. Also, the different countries. So we're going to target different countries with localization or not. Is your game OK with different cultures? Because sometimes if you make a game, I don't know, about drugs and bloody violence probably is not okay for the Chinese market. And also we noticed that's pretty funny when we demoed our game at Nanchang exhibition in China. We noticed that people were, more delicate in giving the punches. So the threshold for the game should be different. So they are more peaceful. So we had to, the day after, we have to lower all the threshold. Otherwise, no one was able to play. So also budgeting. We are all poor in this environment. So we have to be very constrained on what we do and take decisions about what we can afford doing. So let's thinking about something that we made in this kind of high-level decision. For instance, our game, our Reloaded game, started, as I said, as one of the launch titles of the Vive Focus Plus, the only one in mixed reality, so it was not a VR game. And so we were constrained to use that device, and the choice of going boxing was about, you had these controllers. We wanted to help in showcasing that were good to make this kind of game, and also the positional tracking. That's why there was the movement and the punching. For the target market and the fan factor, we decided to stay in the middle because the pro market is very, very niche. The beginner market, it's about, if you want to include them, you have to write pretty long tutorials, etc. So I want to stay right in the middle between the two. Of course, we want to target also the Chinese market because we were supported by HTC China. And since we are constrained about budgeting, we decided to go MR. So we created a plugin to do mixed reality on the Focus Plus, because if you do something in AR and MR, you just have to model the targets. You don't have to model the environment and too many things. So that was an advantage on the budgeting side. And of course, we tried to include some people for the accessibility, but some people asked us to do something without controllers, for instance. That is good for rehabilitation. But we tested it, and hands tracking solutions, still at this moment, are not okay for a boxing game. So maybe in the future, we will work on it. So once you create this kind of high-level decision, who is this game for, what is the peripherals, etc., it's time to actually develop your game design. So really all the details, all the specifications of the game. And also, what is the graphical style? So you need some artists, make some sketches. And about the game, my suggestion for your game designers is make lots of prototypes. Because, for instance, Hitmotion started as a game, was like a bit tower defense stuff, to punch a tower. We made the first prototype in some hours. We tested it. It was really terrible. And so we decided, OK, no, this is not going to work. So avoid realizing that something is terrible after months of developing. So test it in a fast way. And remember that you're not making the game for yourself. So sometimes for instance, you decide to target the pro market, but you're not a super muscular guy or girl, so you can't enjoy your own game. That's kind of sucks, but it's part of the business. And also, I probably doesn't feel that good for you to say, for me to say this, but copy from your competitors, because it's useless to reinvent the wheel. Don't be shy, everyone is copying for everyone in this ecosystem and in gaming in general. You take inspiration, that's the actual definition for what is in the market, and you try to take the best ideas and add something of yourself, and probably then your competitors will copy you as well. So let's see some decisions that we take on the game design side for Hitmotion, because in this case, the game design depends on the particular game you're building. So let's make some example for ours, so I can give you some practical examples of decisions they can make. So for instance, we decided to focus a lot on the punching mechanics. And we wanted to actually teach something about punches, so not just throwing punches in a random way. So we decided to take the basic things to check in a punch, so the hand, left or right, and what kind of punch, a jab, a hook, or a uppercut. And the game analyzes if you're using the right hand, the right direction, and the right speed or force to do this punch, to teach you, really, this kind of basic boxing movements while you play the game. And also you may say, yeah, that's very cool, but how really can you feel having a punch in VR? At the moment, it's not that possible. But you can do your best to emulate the sensation of touching something by adding some kind of visual feedback, sounds when your hand touches the object, vibration of the controllers. And lately, we also integrated the BeHaptic suit. And I have to say that it's really an amazing piece of hardware, where when you punch something very hard, you feel like a vibration that goes from your fist to your chest. And I think it adds a lot of fun and realism to the game. And then something that may seem easy, but actually it's interesting to evaluate, is how to design, to make the 3D model of this enemy, of this target you have to punch. Because you have to create something that entices the user to punch it, be visually beautiful, not too complicated, otherwise it can't run on a quest. And also it should make the user understand immediately what is the kind of punch that you must use. And we take a kind of inspiration from those things that are used in the gyms called power, because it's what people already know that can be punched. And we created a version of it that is inspired, of course, not identical. But you can say that it's pretty efficient because it has a shape that is quite hemispherical. So you understand immediately what is its orientation and what is the kind of punch you have to perform. It's all made of a certain color, orange or blue, depending on the hand. And also it's made of a material that looks quite soft. So you are interested to punch it. You have no problems of punching it. Also, there are lots of visual feedbacks and an arrow that reinforces even more what is the direction. So the user has not to think. It can be something instinctual. Sees the thing, immediately gives the punch. And you can see down the evolution these targets have taken in these years from a very simple thing of the early demo, they're like terrible gloves and a sphere. Then in the middle, you can see a sphere with some kind of arrows where you have to punch it. And it was nice, but since it's a sphere, you don't understand immediately where you have to punch it. You have to wait a second that the brain sees where is the arrow, and then you punch it. The third case, it's much more immediate. This is an example I talk a lot about when talking about VR gaming, fitness in general, and UX in VR. So this is one of the prototypes, the first versions that our 3D artists made about our targets, our enemies to punch. So this was in attack mode, and the previous version, this is in idle mode. And it's pretty cool, so we love seeing it. And also he made the version super detailed with a lot of textures. It was really cool. When we saw it, it was like, okay, I want to see it in VR. It will be like a dream. So I put it inside in VR to make a test. And actually, this thing kind of was horrible for boxing in VR, because your brain, when you're in VR, is a bit like in real life. If in real life you see a cube made of steel and glass, maybe you don't want to punch it because your brain says, okay, you're pretty crazy, you're going to hurt yourself. So you have this kind of reaction, and you understand why VR things have to be tried in VR, because some kind of artists still make things on paper and give you the 3D model and say, okay, it works well on my screen, but it's not the same. You have to try it, everything in VR, otherwise you risk this kind of effects. In VR, everything looks differently. And this, again, for the enemy side, as I said, is important to give feedback, visual feedback, audio feedback, so that the user understands immediately if it has gone something good or something wrong, and how he or she can improve. So, for instance, if you are using not enough force, our target says weak, just to say something that doesn't encourage you that much, but it gives you immediately the idea what you have to improve. And also to enable the kind of fast series of punches. We have a preview of the next enemy. So while you punch the first one, you already know what is the second one. You can do some kind of series left, right, left, right. And to make the game more fun and challenging, we added some kind of achievement, daily challenges, rewards. So the user wants to write on every day to win this kind of challenges. And our plan is also to add some kind of multiplayer, so can challenge himself, herself, and also the others. So these are important to make people write onto the game and stay really fit every day, because being fit one day is easy, going to the gym, every week is the difficult part. Then we made the training customizable, so you can add some kind of modifier for the force, for the time, the duration, so every person can customize the training according to their needs. And there are the idea of building this kind of training so that someone teaches you how you have to perform the various boxing move. And if we have like a robot trainer, we call it Bob, and we want him to teach the user, even the newbies, what is the basic of boxing. So the experience is really can be formative for the players. So I'm almost over. Some final recommendations are keep testing your game. So when you think you're over, you're never over. Make people try it, publish it, and listen to the feedback of the community. Add new features and fix the bugs, because you never know what the community is going to suggest you. So follow the community. Also understand what is the market that is responding better. Maybe you made a game, for the medium user, and you get lots of pros buying it. So of course you start chasing the pros because they're the ones giving you money. So put it outside and see what happens. And then, of course, do the most marketing that you can. So talking it to bloggers, to magazines, both VR and fitness magazines, to all your friends. So become the crazy guy that calls about the game to all his friends, pays for some banners, and come to some exhibitions like AWE to talk about your game. And since I'm promoting it, you can go to SideQuest App Lab and download our free demo of HitMotion Reloaded. So if you try it by yourself, we are trying to look for some publishers to expand the game to the full version with all the features that I told you today and even more. And if instead, or apart from trying the game, you want to contact me, or New Technology Workers, these are my contacts. So I think I'm just 30 seconds late. So thanks for listening to me. Thanks for AWE for hosting me. If you have some questions, I'm here to answer them.
Thanks so much, Tony. If anybody has any questions, we have a microphone right there. Any takers? Okay.
Tony, I'm new to XR and VR gaming, but I'm curious, when you did your studies to find what was the most impactful health impact, do you work with health educators for that, or do you guys just figure it out because it just feels like, hey, I'm sweaty?
Well, at the moment, so the first impact was just more about on the gaming side. So it was just more the second approach. Like, I see people that are sweating, I see people that are having fun. I see that there are also some competitors that are doing similar things. Also, we started seeing there are some companies and institutions starting working on studying it, for instance. And then later on, we plan also to contact this kind of institution. We already contacted one of them, for instance, that is studying the effects of VR fitness on the actual health of the users. And also, they studying also what is the best way to provide the game to be more healthy. And so we are talking with this girl from this institution, and she, for instance, said that you have to be careful not to make the user make this kind of fast movements, otherwise it's not healthy for the whole arm. You have to be careful about doing this kind of thing. So the plan is, as I said, throw everything outside and see what happens. At the meantime, try to contact this kind of person that work on it more on a technical side of the health, because we are, of course, developers. And because I think it's important, because, okay, in the beginning you start with some assumptions, but then, especially if the title gets traction, it's important that you don't hurt your user, you provide really good, healthy training.
So I have a question, actually.
Yeah.
I use a rowing machine at home, and
Yeah.
I'm very into Population 1. It's a game on the Quest. It's awesome. And like 20 minutes after I'm done rowing, my body heat is still up there. When I put the VR headset on, I start fogging up the lenses. I could only imagine if I was in a fitness game how that would play out. Is that a problem for everybody, and are there solutions you're considering?
You mean for fogging the lenses? Well, actually, it's interesting that these days there are some people, some influencers, bloggers trying some gadget called Bobo VR that is for the Quest. There's some kind of solution, also the Vive and Chill for the Vive, that throw air inside the headset to make you stay more kind of fresh yourself, and also to prevent the lenses to fog too much. And so I think these are the solutions that are better, because especially if you're like in the winter and you take the headset, it's pretty cold, it's going to fog up immediately. And I'm a software developer, I can't do anything for that, but I know that they're working on accessories to prevent them. So this Bobo VR is, there's written someone say, hey, it's super cool, I managed to play fitness for like half an hour without fogging. Then the battery ended and immediately fogged. So I think it works.
Thanks for answering that. We have time for one more question.
Hey, Tony, the Six. You probably know me online. Yeah.
You're the boss of fitness in VR.
Yeah, so one of the big things that I wonder myself is kind of a twofold question. One is virtual reality fitness versus augmented reality fitness.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on that in terms of like how safe will augmented reality fitness really be? We can't be running around, chasing Pokemon. And then the other part of that is as full body tracking comes, how do you think it's going to evolve beyond this very upper body centric workouts?
Oh, they're amazing questions. Of course, I expected cool questions for you, but I think that let's start from the AR versus VR. So you know that our Hitmotion Reloaded at the beginning was a mixed reality game. And in the sense that we use the VR headset, like you have now passed on the Quest. But basically we did it in 2019 with the Focus Plus. And one of the cool things was like people were able to play it even in the little demo area of the VEC in Shenzhen. You could play it super safely. While the other games about boxing, people were just punching the walls or whatever, you could play our game because you could see your surroundings. I think that AR has an edge in this sense for safety for the users a lot. I think I'm a big fan of fitness with AR glasses or mixed reality glasses or whatever. The thing that VR is still in edge is that it can immerse you completely. So maybe it can be more motivating, more making you feel inside the gym or in another environment and not at your home. So it's a matter of finding a compromise between the security and the motivation. Probably what you're going to do now that Facebook or Meta or however you want to call it will enable pass-through in the store is just to provide some kind of letting the user to choose if using one of the other, when they, like an option, probably is the best thing. Okay, you have a big area, you can play in VR, you don't punch anything. You have a small area, activate the pass-through and you play safely. Regarding full body, I think it has the potential, as you said, to finally give you the training to the whole body. So some people contacted us, say, I want to do kickboxing. I was like, at the moment you cannot, you have to use a complicated setup with the Vive trackers, etc. So I think it's good because you can provide different kinds of training, also be more complete training. So not only the upper body but the whole body. So I really can't wait actually. I was pretty excited about the rumors of the Quest 2 Pro and the full body because we wanted to experiment with it, but maybe next year. And with AR, you can already do that, and you can also check with, there are some apps that verify when you do exercises if you are doing them well. So, yeah, I can't wait for this as well.
All right. Hey, let's hear it for Tony.
Woo! Thank you,
Great
everyone.
job.